Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
I have some thoughts about this episode of The Bachelor, so why don't we get into what we like to do around here, you know? It's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show! Yes, but YouTube, before anything, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content, just like this. And if you just did, oh man, huge shout out to you. Ooh, air horns for you. We got this is the point where we have to shout out our comment crew, but the comment crew is like bubbling up. I'm loving it because the Nancy Drew crew is starting to grow, and they have officially got Marion SP in the building.
Yeah, they inducted her.
Yeah, they inducted her. I'm just gonna throw Marty in there too, just because like that's my mom, and she likes online friends. So yeah, I mean Catherine Ann, Chelsea Allen, Kathleen Kent, Marion SP, Marty, all the heavy hitters in the comment crew. Nancy Drew crew forever. But yeah, I love y'all and thank y'all for continuing to party over on YouTube. You could get a shout out on this show too. All you got to do is leave a comment and let us know what you think of this episode, or that you subscribed, or anything like that, or just say hi. It's as easy as that. But so definitely find us on there. V, we are here with, what is this, week 5 of The Bachelor. What a week. A very interesting week. But where do we start?
Indeed.
We're in London.
We're in London. The girlies are running around using silly accents, doing the thing.
Is that considered like, I mean, I know it's like the same race, I guess, but is that like racist? I don't know. I don't
think it's racist. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
I feel you.
Like, it could be discriminatory, maybe, but also like, we aren't even, the Brits, I don't know, whatever.
I feel you. I just thought I'd ask,
But they, everyone, once again, everybody's like really dying to get a one-on-one because that is kind of the point. And Greer is really going hard in the paint, being all like, if I don't get this one-on-one, like, I told him how much I love tea. I have tea tatted on me. Like, hi, T. That's the date for me. Tea. And
I mean, she was doing this a little bit last week too, but this week it was just seemed like she was like, I don't know, she was trying to get
wrist, the little T tattoo.
I think she was trying to get into the producer's ear,
right,
or something, like just like will it into existence. That
she's like, I love tea. Just in case anybody wanted to know, tea.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, yeah. Anyways, so. It ends up not being her.
It ends up not being her. It ends up being Gabi, which I feel like is a nice, like, the producers being like, oh, sorry, put you on a date that could have killed you with this shellfish. But, like, I feel like this is their thing. And the date card comes from a butler, and it says, Gabi, you are my queen, blah, 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 which we already know it's going to be some sort of royal experience. And by the looks of it, even just like I could guess from the second they like got out where they were going and they went into a store, I'm like, we're going to get a shopping spree. We're going to get a shopping spree. So they start first by going to the perfumery of the royals, and they make a scent together, and they named it Zabby. Zach and Gabi.
Wow.
Zabby.
Original.
So, yeah, so fun. And then they meet up with some butler who used to work for, I guess, King Charles and Queen Elizabeth II. And all of this was probably filmed like late, like probably not long after Queen Elizabeth died. So I kind of wonder what the vibe was while they were there. It probably was like filmed like a month or so later. Not sure. So interesting to think about. And then they get to like play with these royal bloodline corgis, which I wonder, like, if they're even, like, within the same, like, what does that even mean? Like, what are the specifications? Are they, like, half royal? Like, what's going on? Don't know. But then we get to the dog
that's the dog that my stepdad that has. He's from England.
Yeah,
they got the corgi. So he's very strict about like wanting to have the corgi cut on it and everything.
Oh yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah,
I
it
love
is.
corgis.
Yeah,
personally.
I love her. Her name is Stotty.
Oh, cute.
It's a cutie name. Shout out to Stotty.
Love it.
Yeah, I think that might be the first dog shout out on the show.
Hey, probably. Maybe, but maybe not the last.
Maybe not the last. We've opened up the floodgates.
We opened up the floodgates to dog shoutouts. And then we finally get to the shopping spree portion where she's trying on the dresses. Like Zach's like, trying to keep it together. We learn in as a foil to when Clayton was our red loving dude, Zach is a blue lover. So we learned that real quick. And she kind of talks about how he's making her feel so beautiful because she has like body image issues, and like how like she feels really confident in all the dresses in front of him because of just like how he's reacting and everything like that, which like, I mean, bet, whatever. And then, they do the obnoxious thing that they have to do every shopping spree date where they parade her back with, I think they have a bag per item. Like they couldn't consolidate. I'm going to just go out
and say that this is my favorite part of this episode was this like sequence of events.
Oh yeah.
She comes back in with like a ridiculous amount of bags, like
literally a bag per item. Like it's like
how much
like
money do you think that was?
And they're bringing out your order like plate by plate. You get like a half of waffle on one plate, and you get another half on the other. Like that's what they're doing with these bags.
Okay, so you don't think it's just a lot of stuff? You just think it's distributed into different packaging.
Yeah, and then they always seem to be getting like shoes lately. So like they got her like nice Jimmy shoes. Like there's always like one like high end item because I feel like on each of the seasons recently it's either like a Louboutin or like a Jimmy Choo or something like that. So they showed her like
it's the Cinderella thing.
Yeah, it's very much so a Cinderella thing. They show her like she's like going through all her stuff and people are oohing and eyeing, and you could tell like they're passing around like the diamond earrings, and like Greer is like pissed because like Gabby's describing the whole date and Greer's all like, this is my date to like my dream date to a T, and like she's like mouthing and whispering stuff to Charity because they're both upset, and like but Greer is like not having it. Everybody else is like, ooh, whatever, like definitely like a little butthurt about it, but like handling it a bit better. And then Greer just like gets up, runs out of the room, and is crying in the hallway in a very cute like little leather dress outfit too. Like,
no, Greer is dope, like as far as like fashion and stuff, I feel like, Oh
yeah, she's wearing a cute little fit. Yeah. And I'm all like, damn, girl.
But all the girls, like you can't help but see all the girls just be like, oop. Like, oh, I can't believe she actually got up and like she's making a statement here, because it's not just like, oh, excuse me, like I gotta go use the bathroom or something. It's like, because all like, even Gabi had to be like, I'm not trying to like, throw it in her face or anything. Like, and
like the other girls are like, just enjoy your moment, girl. Like, it's fine. Like, obviously, like, blah, 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 which I feel like it's very girl powery this season, which like is okay, but also I'm like, I feel like they're laying it on real thick, and sometimes like this moment they were all like, just enjoy your moment, girl, like enjoy your moment, which is like,
but I think I don't know, like I feel like there's that, but then it could go the opposite way, because like it depends on who you're doing it for, right? Like which I feel like Gabi was genuinely just excited and like wanted to share her day with the girls. She didn't seem malicious at all. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, as much as like I like Greer, like, on the show, and I thought I did. This episode was like, I didn't, everybody I liked, I ended up like not liking by the end of the episode. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of annoying because like you'll get like, you know what it is. It's like, stop freaking out. Like, this is not the way you get a date, like, this, right? It's just like you got to stay positive and make the moments where you can and stuff, which was not this episode.
And she's allowed to be upset, but like, I felt like it was a little bit of a a bratty response to like stomp out of the room, go cry in the hallway. Charity like raced after her to try to like calm her down.
Yeah,
and
what
stuff.
makes you think that? Like, why do you think that you get it over anyone else? Like, you know,
Right.
And I don't know. There was just a lot of emotion this episode.
Because she loves T-Sai. That's why she thought she should get it over anybody.
Yeah, well, go find Kermit. You know, I think you know, it's just not fair to the rest of everyone else, like, you know, to be acting that way, because you sit there and you think what, like you're better than everyone else, or like, you know, you got the first impression rose, like what do you don't think like girls felt that way about you on night one,
right?
You know, so I think it is like one of those things where you just have to be like, if I'm in this game, like, yeah, like, girl, do you, and this is your day, be excited. So when it is my day, y'all are excited for me. That's just the way it is. So she goes out in the hallway. You know, I forgot.
Ends up crying like in front of Gabby's room. It looks like, because then Gabby has to come through with all of her shit to get changed for the night portion of the day.
Yeah, that was so awkward. I was like,
so you know, they obviously set that up. That like, there's no way that wasn't set up to be like that. Like, that was not a coincidence.
That's too much. That's too much forward thinking. Like, it just like, I think she just went in front of a room where she had to drop all the stuff and get ready, like, you know, and she double backed and made it even double the awkward, because she had to pass them and be like, oh, yikes. I know you're mad at me right now and upset, but y'all got to get up so I can get ready for this date, and I got to get ready in that room. You know, if I was Greer, I would have got up and tried to move somewhere else, but she continued to just talk right outside the door.
I was like, what are you doing? Just get out of there.
Yeah.
But the rest of their date seems to go pretty well. You know, Zach is all like, you're gorgeous. I see you for you. Like, you know, I want you to see yourself the way I see you, kind of stuff. Like, they seem very into each other. She does look gorgeous in that dress.
Yeah. I mean, Gabi, you know, I think it worked in this sense too, in this episode, where like, I wasn't really feeling Gabi, but I did after this episode, at least, you know, for this episode.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, she gets the rose, and she, you know, is probably the happiest girl this episode.
She's the happiest girl this episode. Gets to see UB40 playing some music for them, and then
that was cool. Except UB40 was playing like a weird version of that song. Like it's more. Yeah. It's usually more reggae, and they were like,
didn't Elvis first sing that song?
Yeah, but this was like an 80s, 90s version that they covered it, and it's very popular.
But it was you're right. It was weird, because I was like, wait a second. Like, because I was like, it's definitely not like the Elvis version, but it's definitely not like the 80s version that I also know.
Yeah.
So it was just very bizarre.
Yeah, they had like some like electro drums going or something with
it. Yeah, I don't know what was. It was the weirdest vibe for like how they were dressed and stuff. I'm like, what's going on?
And also UB40, for whatever reason, I never knew what they looked like. I would have assumed it was like a reggae, like black guy. So to see like a white guy singing that, I was like, oh, UB40, huh? Okay. You know, because they didn't have YouTube back then. I could go look it up now and probably see a video for them, but I never knew what UB40 looked like. So yeah, anyways, so that was cool. That was actually a nice change though, from like getting like country music and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I will agree. Yeah. We'll take what we can get, I guess.
I'll take it. So where do we go to next?
So we get the date card for the group date. People are upset about, like, Mercedes is upset about not getting the one-on-one because she's barely gotten any screen time. And
that was another one. I was like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
Oh man, there's so many. I get it. I guess it can get emotional and stuff, but it's just like, there were just too many.
Her outburst was kind of aggressive for just like not getting the one-on-one. Like, I get it. Like, you're feeling a little desperate and you're like, when is it going to be my turn? And especially because as we get later into this episode, she definitely does get shafted. Mm-hmm. But it's just an excessive reaction. But you know, so that's that. The rest of them are going on this group date. Zach sends a letter via Butler, saying like that, you know, he's under the weather, but he's sending them to enjoy the group date without him. So they get to do, you know, the full double-decker tour. At first, everybody's sad. It's raining on them. They're pissed. And then they decide to they're like, if we're in London, on like a paid for trip and we're like on this whole thing. We might as well make the most of it. Plus I start drinking more, and they just like are like running around having a good old girls' day kind of deal. Obviously they're all upset, but they keep being all like, they keep saying that they're being stood up. Like they keep at first they're all like, you know, at first they're all like, well, he was just fine for Gabi's date, like, and he's probably going to be fine for Charity's date, because they're all like bitter that they didn't get a one-on-one. But then, you know, they think that he's going to show up at the cocktail portion of this date.
I mean, I would say, I would kind of agree with them in the sense that, like, dude, if you're sick, why are you making them get ready for things? You know? Right.
I agree. Like, why are they? Because the girls pulled out all the stops to get ready for this cocktail party.
I was kind of pissed for them. Like, not even just the cocktail party, but the group date. Like, it's like,
I mean, I'm okay. I would be upset if I were in their position about the group date. I would be upset, but I would be happy that they sent me on what a fun experience. Still, like, especially since I've never been to London, and it seems like many of them hadn't. Like, you know, just
I'm just saying though, like, as fashion people, like me and you, like, wouldn't you be pissed off that like you specifically picked an outfit twice in one day to kind of show off you to Zach?
Well, yeah, all the girls are freezing their asses off because they dress like little hoes, and they're in London and they're getting rained on, and they're all like, I'm freezing, but I wear something cute, and now I'm just freezing my ass off for Zach to not even see it, and like they're all pissed, which I'm like, I get that, but like a hoe never gets cold. And I was just like, but the whole fact that they let them get fully ready for a cocktail party, like these girls did a full face, doing a full beat, doing full hair, doing full, like, you saw they pulled out some of like the best like cocktail outfits I've seen all season long. And then they're like, just have another Butler come up being all like, sorry ladies. Like, what the fuck? That part, I'm especially pissed about that, because I would be like, what are we doing here? I mean, I wondered if they could have had time to change into something different on the group for like the actual day portion, if, you know, but I think they were all just really hoping that he would just show up. But then they're all taking the petals from the rose, like they're all really upset, which I get. Like I would be pissed too if you're telling me to get ready for a cocktail party that I've been looking forward to all day, thinking that, you know, my boyfriend that I'm sharing with like 10 other girls is going to be there. But like,
yeah, totally. So, I mean, this kind of leaks into, what's it called? Charity's one-on-one. Like, people start putting two and two together, you know,
because they all come back and like everybody's confused. They're like, what's going on? Why are you guys all back so early? Because you could tell, obviously, usually if you're at a cocktail party, you're gone for later. And like, they're like, why are you guys, what's going on? And they have to explain. And Charity's all like, shit, like, am I not going to have my date? And pretty much Jesse.
I don't know, man. I just feel like they should have been a little bit more. Like, I hope he feels better. Like, you know, I wouldn't want to be going out. I first of all, I wouldn't want to be going out with someone that's sick. Like, even if they're not feeling under the weather, I want 100%. I want to
be making out with somebody that's ill.
Yeah, I just want someone that's 100% in general. Like, you know, like not just like doing it because they have to get through it or whatever.
Right.
So
I feel like they definitely like with the cocktail party, they called it like standing up again, which is not true, because like if you get stood up, you don't get told at all why, like if somebody isn't coming. Like they, you know, obviously for the first part, they knew he wasn't coming. Yes, did they not find out until they already were there that he wasn't coming? But it's not like they weren't let know. Like, it wasn't like they were like just sitting around waiting.
Yeah, and then they told him he got COVID, so it's like, oh, this makes sense. Like, this is a production, especially, you know. Right,
and so yeah, Jesse comes in, tells him that Zach has COVID,
which I didn't get about. Why didn't Gabi? Like, they didn't make any mention of Gabi. Like, obviously, they're probably testing these people every day. And so she probably tested negative.
I wonder if I doubt if they have as strict of a testing schedule now, but I'm sure once Zach was feeling bad, they tested him. And then once he was positive, they probably had to test Gabi and stuff too. And then I'm sure, obviously she ended up being fine, but I thought this was interesting that the producers were obviously playing favorites because they allowed Katie to bring him like a little gift basket and talk to him through the door, which I felt like was kind of a diss to Charity because like Charity was supposed to have a one-on-one date. And like she didn't even get that. Like, why couldn't they do? I like saw a tweet or whatever that was all like, where was the creativity? Why didn't they do something like, you know, Love Is Blind style and had her like have her do something, you know, like that for her one-on-one? Because or why did they even like continue doing like running the timeline at the same course? Because like that's like what I don't get. Because why wouldn't they just kind of like shut it down until he was good to go? And
because they're on schedule, like they got to go to the next country and they got to go to the next thing.
I guess they only have so many fucking beds at the next country.
Yeah,
because
I mean, it's just like let's get them better and do what we can with this shit. You know, I don't know. Like maybe was she just the only thoughtful one that was like telling her producer to go buy a bunch of shit for her and for him?
I mean, I have to believe that she probably had a producer in her ear being all like, you know what would be a good idea? Like, what if we like gathered up some, like, I doubt that she's the only thoughtful one. Like, I doubt it. But I'm sure, because like, there's only so much that people can get or whatever. So,
or maybe other people did do it and they just showed hers, like for whatever reason.
I wonder.
But they did have that one scene of him, like, I mean, which was set up as shit, but like, the camera down the hallway and him like opening the door and just pulling the basket in like it's a scary movie or something.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I mean, this kind of goes to what I was kind of thinking. This was just a weird episode for Zach for me because I've been pretty like, it's kind of funny because we were talking about it last week. Like I can't tell if I'm liking it. And this was like the first episode where I didn't like Zach.
There was some elements of him that I felt like were coming out where I feel like because we've been getting one tone of Zach the entire time, I feel like obviously his frustrations and stuff came out this time because he was sick and he wasn't feeling well and he wasn't able to like do things. And like, if you even think back to a couple of weeks ago, he's really stuck up on the timeline. Do you remember like when he was like talking to, I think it was Christina or whatever, he's like the timeline or like whichever girl, he's like the timeline of this is like so like quick, like I can't be wasting time on this kind of drama and whatever. So like he's hung up on the timeline and then like all this is happening and so like he's especially pissed off. And then, you know, we go into what's the first ever virtual cocktail party.
It's kind of crazy that this is the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so this cocktail party, they get to all go in and talk to him on an iPad, which
it's hilarious because they're all like, oh, I can't see what I look like or where I am on the screen because of like, however they had it set up, they had it so that they couldn't see themselves and that it was just like they were looking at Zach directly. And it's wigging all of them out because everybody's used to using Zoom and shit now, and you're used to like being able to see yourself in a little screen. Like when we record this, like I make sure like I'm framed, you know, well in the screen and like whatever.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at myself right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
I'm actually looking at two of you for no reason. I don't know why, but
sometimes I do that too because sometimes I put like two of you up because of like how whatever. Doesn't matter. We don't need to get into that. But you know, everybody's like making comments about that. It's kind of funny. It's definitely like, it's cringy with like these girls keep like kissing the tab, like the iPad. Like, I'm like, what are we doing?
You know what the cringy part is that they're not even like kissing the camera. They're kissing like the top of the iPad. So when they go in for a kiss, it doesn't even look like they're kissing Zach, you know?
It's so weird. It's just weird in general. And it's just like, it's just weird. And you know, Zach's like, I've missed all these ladies, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it kind of makes dating a lot of women even weirder. Like, you know, because it's like, what? Like, I got to go check in with my daddy or something like that? Like, you know?
Well, it's just weirder. And especially because then he's just saying the same shit to each of them. Like, it's especially like evident that he's
it's the most that they've made like The Bachelor feel like a Hugh Hefner situation, even though it was like the furthest from that really. But yeah.
Well, this is like the first time I ever hear him like really saying like the exact same shit to each girl because he's all like, I can't wait to get out of here and give you the biggest hug ever, like to every single girl. Like I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's really coached. Charity actually gets a little special gift, which was sweet because I do wonder if she's going to get another one-on-one date, after this or whatever. It
looks like in the previews, it looks like she does in whatever next country or in a couple of countries in the future. It looks like she gets her one-on-one date.
Yeah. So really the big thing out of this was his conversation with Greer. Yeah. This is like the biggest thing that kind of came out of this episode, which was kind of like the cherry on top of her episode that she's been having, like no pun intended. I think, I was kind of not feeling Greer most of this episode, but in this portion of the episode, I felt bad for her because
I did feel bad for her too.
Like I was watching it this morning and my girl was like reading a book and like saw this part and I was like, Zach was like an asshole about that, right?
He kind of lashed out. Like, I want to give him slightly benefit of the doubt because like he's been sick, he's been feeling some kind of way, but he like kind of lashed out for no reason in the sense that like she was just trying to make conversation.
So explain what happened.
So they're talking and, Zach's like, she's asking him how he's feeling. Like, she's like, I feel for you. I know this must be super frustrating. Like, we've missed you, like, whatever. And then she's like, when I got COVID, it was the end of a sales. She's like, I work in sales. It was the end of the quarter. And like, I know what it's like, to feel down and feel sick when you're like really trying, like you're looking for and trying to work towards a goal or something. And like,
so she's trying to relate it to him. And then she was like, I just want to know how you're feeling. Like, so she brought it back to him. Like, she wasn't like trying to.
It's not like she was like trying to make it about herself or anything at all. She was just like, so I get how this must be super frustrating, whatever. And he's all like, well, this isn't, because he actually also works in sales. He works in software sales. And he's like, well, this is like, I wouldn't compare like me looking for my wife to end of quarter sales at all, but like blah, blah, blah. Like, and it looks like they kind of have like a longer conversation because she's like trying to be like, oh, like I wasn't saying that. I was just saying like,
yeah, this whole thing was cringy. I feel even weird talking about it right now. I don't even know how that's like possible after like doing this for so long that this is like what makes me like my skin crawl to post out of everything.
Which I feel like this goes to show how different like talking over, like even if you're like seeing each other through a screen, you still are missing a lot of like what like natural like in-person conversation, nonverbals and like things like that, because I just think, I wonder if that conversation would have looked or seemed different if they weren't over a screen to each other and if they actually like were in person.
Or could have started it with a kiss, but I guess this conversation wouldn't even happen if he was all right. So I think, and it also just makes me kind of go back to, because he kind of badmouthed Rachel again in this episode.
He did.
And it's been kind of like a common thing. Like,
keeps being all like, I thought I knew somebody, but
which I think
didn't.
is fair enough, like in the sense that Rachel kind of did it about Clayton. But, it kind of makes me think back to their fantasy suites on Rachel's season and like, the way it kind of ended and it's just like, yo, could he have like been this way with Rachel behind, closed doors and stuff? Because the way it seems like to me is that he is being very selfish. Like he's acting like this is like, yeah, he's the lead of The Bachelor, but like, Greer is a person, this is just as much her journey too. And, to act like this is like, she could be at the end of this season standing at the altar with him, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just him finding this, like, it's like she's on this journey too to find love. So that was like the part where I was like, dude, like he had no self-awareness or something. Like it was really
strange. Felt like he easily, I kind of get what you're saying with the selfish bit. Like,
also it's like I just feel like any person with compassion would kind of like not go into confrontation like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many times where someone said something messed up to me where I'd like, just to avoid the confrontation, like I would just be like, yeah, man, it's weird or whatever, and just kind of like try to like move on or whatever. But he like had to make it a point to like kind of like embarrass her or something. And it just, it totally just didn't make me feel good. Like, I was already like, Greer's like kind of, I just wonder if there was more to that conversation or something like
I
that.
kind of wonder what went into, I wonder if there's more before that or like what they were talking about after, because it seems like they then kind of talked for a while and he had like a furrowed brow that we didn't get to like hear all that was being said. But I mean, so she seemed really upset and like she might not get a rose after all that. So she was worried.
It really didn't seem like she was going to. Like, right. I've seen girls leave this season for less.
Literally though.
So yeah, she's really upset and like, is on a rooftop, like, and this time I feel like it's justified her being very upset because it was an awkward conversation like on national television, and right. and she was just trying to be sweet. Like maybe it wasn't, the best comparison or whatever, but yeah, I just
I mean, it could have been done a bit more tactfully, but also like they're both like upset. Like he's sick, she's been like upset and like stressed out all week about like not being able to see him and like whatever. Like there's like they both emotions are high, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of consideration from his aspect maybe.
Yeah, so we end up going to a
virtual rose ceremony.
Holy cow.
So weird.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've been doing these like Zoom calls and stuff for callbacks and auditions for acting. And I was just like thinking, I'm like, I really wonder how this room is set up. Like they had to squeeze the girls together really tight so they could all be on the screen and everything. They had to go up and get the roses. I was thinking like, why didn't they face the roses the other way? But like for TV, it's actually better to face the rose part towards the women, because you see all the roses stacked up there. But yeah, I mean, it was just like, he's calling the women one by one and and they're like air hugging him through the screen. Yeah, it was very strange. I just felt like very like some weird like post-apocalyptic future of like the Bachelor or something like that, where he's like on another like spaceship or something, like picking his women.
It was really weird, and like honestly, like I feel for Kylee and Mercedes because they're the ones that go home. Like they got dumped over Zoom.
Dude,
that's awful. That's awful.
I know. I don't mean to be laughing, but like it is. It really is. I don't know what to say. Greer was at the last rose, and when he calls her up, like she picks up the rose before even being like, will you accept this rose? She's like, yeah, I got this. So I mean, I did feel bad. Like I like Kylee. I thought she was beautiful and nice and stuff.
I thought Kylee and Mercedes were both beautiful, but yeah, I mean, they definitely.
I didn't know Mercedes that well, so
yeah. I mean, I don't think either of them had that strong of a connection, but it did kind of. I feel like Zach did like a pump fake with Kylee because like after her little cocktail party conversation, he was all like, I actually missed Kylee, like blah blah blah, and then like JK, not enough, like.
Yeah, so, maybe I don't know, man. Like some of it kind of makes me feel like he already knows who he's gonna pick, so he's kind of really like not playing the other women well. I'm seeing
the favorites more. It's like Katie, it's Kat. I think Gabi solidified a spot up there.
Yeah, I just think like he wanted to probably send Greer home, but like producers were probably like, yo, dude, you gave her the first impression rose, like give her a chance to go on a date or something. Like, and he's like, all right, well, I did say nice things to Kylee, but I'm not really feeling it, so I might as well send her home. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that's where we're left off with. We get this preview of the rest of the season, which seemed pretty interesting. I didn't see much of Greer in there, but
didn't see a ton of Greer. Saw a lot of Charity. Saw a lot of people getting upset with Kat. Seems like she might like try to like kind of get some extra time with him before or after a date or something that pisses the other girls off.
Brooklyn is probably the most vocal out of like letting people know if they're getting out of line or something. What else did we see from the preview?
We see it seems like Jess, who's our youngest one, she's only 23. She's our sparkly girl. It seems like, he gets real hung up on how she keeps, like, it seems like he lashes out again because she's all like, like, I haven't got a one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. And he's all like, this isn't about a one-on-one, like, blah, blah, blah. And so it looks like there's...
Yeah.
I
in
feel
that
like
sense, I could kind of understand. That's how I feel about Greer this episode.
Right.
Like, it's like, dude, like, what do you want from me? Like I'm not going to make a decision that's going to make everyone happy.
Right.
It's like, if it's not you, it's somebody else that's going to be pissed off at me. So it's like, stop thinking that you're entitled to a one-on-one date. Like, I'm trying to get to know you guys in the moments where I can. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like, it looks like Greer like walks out or something like that.
Something. I mean, we get the preview again that they tried to preview for this week, last week for us, where like everyone's like, that's so fucked up, I can't believe this, blah blah blah. So I wonder what that is in reference to, because we still don't know.
Yeah. So
and everybody's crying their eyes out. Blech.
I mean, it's what they do. Well, yeah, so we'll be back next week with week 6. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more entertaining than this week's episode, but we made it through it. V, do we have any other stuff happening in Bachelor Nation?
Yeah, so what used to just be Jared and Dean's podcast, Help I Suck at Dating, they have done a very smart rebrand where they're adding Kaylin, Dean's fiance, and they're going to call it Help We Suck at Being Newlyweds, because Jared and Ashley obviously are, have been married for a little bit, have kids, and like are kind of more like have a kid and are like, young parents, and then Dean and Kaylin are on their, wedding planning, that whole journey. So I think, I thought smart rebrand for them to be able to, continue on with the podcast in a way that makes sense for them.
Yeah, it's like, a sequel. You gotta love a sequel. And also Kaylin joins them, so it kind of like, gives her an outlet. It's also smart, the reason why I even sent it over is because I was listening to my Pod Meets World podcast, and they're always like promoting new iHeart podcast on there.
Right.
And I was like, oh shoot, like, I hear about Chris Harrison's podcast, but then, I think it's smart. Like, this trio of Bachelor alumni thing kind of works, I guess, in Nation. So, So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to hear more. Kaylin's kind of like, I think, been a lot more quiet and about herself and Dean since, it all came out of like, the receipts from Blake and all that stuff. So to hear it kind of like come back into the fold and be more vocal and stuff, I think will be interesting. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What else we got?
So there had been rumors going around that ABC was considering rehiring Chris Harrison because there was like, dwindling ratings and stuff like that. But I guess ABC has denied that.
It would look pretty pathetic, like literally pathetic for Bachelor to come back. I mean, I think it would be a great ratings thing. I think people would watch it a lot.
But I also think they would lose a lot if they have any like diverse audience left. They would lose it if they have like any, I
don't know. I think a lot of people. I think it would be a lot more people to come and watch the show just because they want it, first of all, to see Chris Harrison come back.
I mean, I don't give a fuck. We barely see Jesse in these things, and I couldn't care less.
Sure.
I mean,
but you know how it is when people bring back people.
I guess.
It just builds
I have
excitement.
no desire to see Chris Harrison back on my screen.
Fair enough. But yeah, so I mean, apparently it's nothing you have to worry about then, V, because it's not happening apparently. But they'd have to pay him a lot of money. That's for sure.
Because they like paid him like millions of dollars to like hush hush to GTFO.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got for Bachelor Nation news. Like, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think like Zach was fair with Greer, or do you think it was unfair? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think
they could have handled him having COVID better for some of these dates?
Yeah. What do you think about the virtual rose ceremony and cocktail party? Was that a move?
Do you think they should have just let Kylee and Mercedes join for the next leg of the journey and just kick him off on some sort of, other date situation?
Yeah. Did you know what UB40 looked like? I didn't. Just let me know. Are you going to be tuned into Hope We Suck at Being Newlyweds? Do you want to see Chris Harrison come back and replace Jesse? Or maybe they do something crazy and they have Jesse and Chris. Oh, no, it would never work. But yeah, so just let us know, give us a follow. Shout out to all the new subscribers. And yeah, we love y'all. So see you next week.
Future Bachelor Podcast.